Hi, I'm Jill with Rooting for the Future, and today we're going to be making a really simple lentil salad, 6-spice lentil salad. This is a recipe that you probably have most of the ingredients already, and it's also a great recipe to have the kids help out. There's some really great simple activities that they can do to help you make the salad. And the first thing that you need to do is to cook the lentils. We're going to be using French green lentils today, and I like French green lentils a lot because after they've been cooked, they're still a little bit firm and they hold their shape really well, so they're great for salads. You can also use other types of lentils. These are brown lentils, which are fine as well to use. And you can soak the lentils for several hours if you would like to make them more digestible, but you don't have to. Lentils cook fairly quickly whether they've been soaked or not. And a great sensory activity for your kids, if they're helping you out, is to run their fingers through the lentils. They love to do this. It feels so good. And it's also a great way to find things that don't belong in there that they can take out for you. And just really soothing, and feels so great to run your fingers through the lentils. So I soaked my lentils for a couple of hours, and you need 1 cup of lentils, 3 cups of water, and you're gonna add these to a saucepan on the stove. So we're gonna add the water, and you add your lentils. Okay, you want to bring the water to a boil, and then you'll turn it down to a simmer. Once it's boiling, I like to put the cover on just to get things going faster. And you want to continue to check it, make sure there is water in there for them to be cooking. You don't want the lentils to burn on. It should take about 20 to 30 minutes to have the lentils fully cooked, and then we will be ready to make our salad. So while the lentils are cooking, you can mix up the dressing for the salad. And I love this dressing because it has so many great spices, and it's a great opportunity for kids to smell the different spices and see the colors and textures that go into the dressing. When I make dressing with kids, I usually do it in some type of jar, just a leftover jelly jar or anything. It's so great to be able to just put a lid on it and have the kids shake up the dressing, so they feel like they're getting it all mixed together with all the spices. So we're gonna start out by doing olive oil and apple cider vinegar. It's gonna be a 1/4 cup of olive oil, and then also a 1/4 cup of the apple cider vinegar. So those can go right into the jar, and because we are shaking the dressing up, it doesn't matter what order you put everything in. Then we're gonna put some salt. The recipe calls for a teaspoon of salt, but I like to start with a little bit less salt so that you can then taste it and see if it has enough salt. So we'll do a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and we'll do some fresh ground pepper, and kids love to do pepper grinder if you have one. So great to see as they twist it, the pepper going into the dressing. Then we're going to do our spices. We have garam masala, cumin, curry powder, turmeric, cinnamon, and ground mustard. And these are the 6 spices that are going into our salad. So when you work with kids, it's great to have measuring spoons that are level, that have like a scoop that they can level off. There's different types of measuring spoons. This one's a little bit harder for them to get an accurate measurement, so I like to do ones like this that they can make sure that they can get level. So it's a teaspoon of garam masala. It smells so good. And then it is a 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. And 1/2 teaspoon of ground mustard. 1/2 teaspoon of curry powder, and definitely have them smell all of these wonderful spices as you're adding them to the dressing. Then it's a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, and it's a pinch of cinnamon. Now, if you want, you can have your kids do a pinch of cinnamon, or you can use a spoon and just get a little bit of cinnamon. You just want a little bit of cinnamon to just add that in there. And oh, the cinnamon smells so good. And you put the lid on and you have them shake it up. And you can see this beautiful salad dressing with all of the spices in there. And they're just gonna shake that till it gets nice and mixed up. And that turmeric turns it kind of a beautiful yellow color. So that's your dressing for the salad. And then you can check on your lentils again. If you feel that there's not enough water and your lentils still need to cook a little bit more, feel free to add another half a cup or a whole cup of water so that they continue cooking and they are nice and tender when it's time for the salad. Okay, so once your lentils are cooked, you can just pour them through a strainer. If there's any water left, to just drain that water off and put them in a bowl. Put them in kind of a large bowl so that the kids can help you stir the salad without everything falling out of the bowl. So one of the great kid-friendly activities for this recipe is cilantro. And what I always have the kids do is pull the leaves off with their pincher fingers and make a pile of the cilantro on the cutting board. It is absolutely fine to eat the stems of the cilantro, but I find that the kids do a great job pinching those leaves off. And then I always keep a pair of kid-friendly scissors in the kitchen that are for cooking. And once you have your pile of cilantro leaves, I have the kids use their cooking scissors and just chop those cilantro leaves up with their scissors. They love doing this. It's so fun to do it with their safety scissors. Right? And then you also need some onion. I usually have the adult do the onion, unless you have a kid who's really loves to cook and doesn't mind some tears with the onions. I have the adult small dice the onion to go in the salad. And then the other thing that we add in the salad is some type of dried fruit. The recipe calls for dried currants, but they're a little bit harder to find in the store. So I think there's some great alternatives. Dried cranberries, or dried cherries, or even raisins are fine. I usually like to go for cranberries or cherries. They're a little bit tart and they go really great in the salad with our spice dressing. So we're gonna add our diced onion, our small diced onion. And then we'll add this beautiful green cilantro that the kids have chopped up with their scissors. And then I'm gonna add the cranberries for our salad this time. Just put them right in there. So we have all these beautiful things to add to our lentils, and then we have our spiced dressing that we're gonna add. And this you can add as much as you feel is good. You don't want too much dressing. You want just enough to get all those flavors. And then you can have the kids stir the salad up with all these pretty colors in there, and the onions, the cranberries, the cilantro. And I usually let it sit for just a little bit to get all the flavors combined. And you have a beautiful salad that you can make any time of the year with ingredients that probably most of you have on hand already. And lots of great activities for the kids. So thank you for joining Rooting for the Future, and we'll be back again with another kid-friendly recipe.